Hello there. This is Singing. Let the vehicle pass here. This is Singing Timber Wolf. I'm at the Mogadore Reservoir out here in Portage County, Ohio. That borders between Suffield and Brimfield Township. I just wanted to give you an idea where I've been doing research the last couple of nights. And after research, I came across something kind of odd, kind of interesting, that I guess someone spelled something with sticks. So it's kind of odd. I don't know if you can see that. Looks like it might say, "No, you're mine." I don't know. Anybody have any ideas why somebody would do this? I'd think it would take a little bit of work to do that, you know, getting sticks off of trees or a tree and then spelling it in the parking lot. Was that message for me, or was it some fisherman who got extremely bored fishing, so he started to break branches off of a tree to spell in the parking lot? I don't know. It's really weird. You know, it seemed kind of a little creepy finding this out about 5 o'clock in the morning after being out here all night. It's an area at the lake, the Mogadore Reservoir. It's kind of like the backbone of it, or back end. And I think I'll take a little walk up the road here to give you another view. Show you a little bit of some of the woods line here. I might do like a 20-minute recording on, see how far I get. I tend to talk too much sometimes, so I'm going to try to be quiet on this video unless I really have to speak. Maybe I'll zoom out. There we go. Vehicle coming, so I'll go on this side. I'd say, I think it was, back in the, you know, between the 70s and 80s, there might have been a Bigfoot flap going on out here. I have some friends close by this area. One in particular had a Bigfoot sighting. She says she was about 12 years old. She's about my age. So I'd say it might have happened in 1977, 78. It was at a horse farm, and her and one of her friends were going horseback riding by city property. And, you know, they were riding along, and the next thing you know, they got caught wind of an odor. There's another vehicle. It's busy out here. Gotta be quiet here for a minute. Anyhow, a couple of girls, the age of 12, approximately, were going horseback riding, and they got wind of a very bad smell. Smell like between swamp and feces, or poop. Kind of poop kind of smell. And the next thing you know, they looked up and they saw a Bigfoot Sasquatch staring at them in a tree line. At that time, the horses reared. They got spooked. There's a plant right there. Interesting. The horses got spooked. They reared. They held on the horses for fear they were going to fall off. And they took off one direction, and the Bigfoot took off in another direction. They went opposite ways, and the witness claimed that the Bigfoot Sasquatch ran the opposite direction for what she could see, and it seemed like it could run about as fast as a horse. You got a split viewing of that before they rode to the stables. They rode. They hear an animal. Probably a coon or something. Small animal. Rode to the stables. Alerted the family. The family thought that weird. The family thought it was some unknown animal, and they worried that, you know, they could, you know, bother their livestock or horses or what. So they came out with, you know, rifles. And they looked down the area, couldn't find anything. The witness said at one point that she got wind of the smell again by the barn, by the horse barn. And was maybe a day or two later that her brother went out scouting around in the woods. If I remember right, I think he came across a 17-inch footprint. So I didn't know what to think of all this at the beginning. I just thought, well, it's a good story to tell at a campfire, you know. Said, what? Bigfoot Sasquatch in Ohio? You gotta be kidding. You know? I said, man, it must be telling stories or something, you know. Didn't quite, you know, believe in it, but hey, you want to tell stories for attention, that's your prerogative. You know. Well, it was about 20 years later. Let's see, heard the story in 1981. About 20 years later, I got into the internet, and I thought about the story about the Bigfoot sighting and everything. So I Googled Ohio Bigfoot. And when I did that, I came across a Bigfoot conference going on in Newcomerstown, Ohio. I said, man, this is kind of interesting. They said there's actually a lot of, I think it's a bird or something. They said this is interesting, you know, a lot of sightings in Ohio. Really? And then they had this Bigfoot conference. And I said, well, I thought I'll check it out. And at that time I was wearing some pretty worn out clothes and everything and stuff. Went there. Kind of looked like Farmer Phil. And and I decided to go on their hike, not knowing that it was an 8-mile hike, and I wasn't faring too well. At that time, my weight was about over 300 pounds. I was wearing old worn out boots. Well, there's a straw hat and bibs, whatever like that. And then some guy says, "Oh my God," so what kind of fruitcake is this? You know? So I went on a hike. That's the road. And later on, someone says, Phil's not doing too well on this hike. And I don't know, somebody should stay back with him and whatever. And I said I wasn't doing too good going down the hills. So actually I was sliding down the hills. I was just scooting along down the hills because my ankles were killing me at that time. And I have a friend from Charleston, West Virginia, who nicknamed me Filthy Phil, because by the time at the end of the hike I was so filthy from sliding down the hills. So after the hike and everything, we had dinner at East of Chicago Pizza. They had a buffet. Got the buffet. I must have been probably dehydrated, and I was very, very hungry, so I ate and drank, and I'll tell you, I ate too much, and which I ended up getting sick. And so I felt very miserable at the first Ohio Bigfoot conference I went to in 2002. So, but after the conference was said and done, I was thinking, I think there is possibly Bigfoot in Ohio. Busy traveled route, you know, so it wasn't long I joined up with the NEO BFR, Northeastern Ohio Bigfoot Research. I also done Bigfoot research with at times with the Eastern Ohio Bigfoot Investigation Center under the direction of Don Keating. This group, I've done research with the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society out there in Pennsylvania, the founders from Jeanette, Pennsylvania, under the direction of Eric Altman, and researched in Ohio, and done a little research down there in Tennessee. And I've had some very interesting things happen these past few years. It all began in 1981 when I was visiting my friends, and they told me the Bigfoot sighting the young lady had at the age of 12 years old. So there you have it. It's the story in a nutshell of how I got into Bigfoot research. I just felt led to tell you all about that. As I said, I talk too much. But really, there's not much else to talk about, so you'll just hear me walk in, and if I hear of anything, animal movement or anything, I'll narrate. Till then, there's not much else to say. Just saw a dragonfly. See if I got it on the video. Yeah, And when I put this video up on YouTube, please comment. Let me know what you think of this area. Let me know how I'm doing. Hope I'm doing alright. And my screen name for YouTube is Singing Timberwolf. Very common spelling. It's original, you know. So I was fortunate to be the original Singing Timberwolf. And there's my vehicle. Beautiful area. A feather down. A feather. Well, I shouldn't do this, but there was an area where I set one of my digital voice recorders last night, and I thought I would show you the area. Really not supposed to go in these woods. City property. Don't tell anybody. I'm going to be in and out of there shortly. Here's the view of the road going down, and I'll show you in a few minutes, probably in another video, where I was at last night and where I had a little talk with the sheriff. Everything went all right. Just somebody called the sheriff on me last night. Somebody about sitting out by the road, side of the road. They were worried about me walking on this path here. I think a lot of fishermen go down here, go fishing. There's some scattered deer bones that somebody probably dropped off a deer at one point. Oh, I gotta step over this log right here. And I almost stepped in a hole there. You know, like, I used to fall a lot back in the day when I was more overweight. Little path here. I think a lot of, you know, fishermen come back here and do fishing anyhow, so some wild ferns growing there. A view of the swamp part of the Mogadore Reservoir. Smell fishy. And this is about where I had my digital voice recorder last night. Sitting on this log. That's where one of my recorders was at. So I'm just about ready to end the first video. I gotta try to figure out how to add music on the videos sometime. A lot of friends put music to their videos. Haven't reached that state in doing videos with music, unless karaoke videos. Take a step over that log. Well, it's about 20 minutes into the recording, so I'm going to end this one.